Hello. In this example, we're going to let f of x equal 2x minus 1 and g of x equal 4 divided by x minus 1. We're going to find f composed of g of 2, and then we're going to find g composed of f of negative 3. One thing to keep in mind is that what we're talking about here, it's called a composition of functions. If I can spell correctly here. Now, what we mean by this is we mean f composed of g of x simply means f of g of x. Now, notice sometimes this is called fog, obviously, because it looks like FOG. It's not really an O, it's like a circle in the middle. It's not a dot either. It's kind of weird. Now, what we mean by this is that the argument for f here is the entire g function. That's really what this means. And also notice that the order in which these appear here are also the order in which these appear here. This is going to help you. We also mean that if you write this as g composed of f of x, this would tell me that g of f of x is what we want to find. Again, notice that the order in which they appear here is the order in which they appear here. Now, let's look at f composed of g of 2. By the way, there are some domain issues that we're going to look at later on, but in this example, we're not going to worry about the domains. So f composed of g of 2 means f of g of 2. Now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use a different color for g of 2. Okay. So this is really all we want to find. We want to find f composed of g of 2 simply means f of g of 2. And like you would normally expect, we want to work from the inside out. Now, notice that there's a big parentheses here, so we have to look at this parentheses. It means g of 2. Now, this 2 is just 2, so we don't have to worry about it. So we really want to figure out what is g of 2 first. And notice that we know what g of x is. So notice that we would simply replace the x here with the 2 and this x here with the 2 and simplify. So that's going to give me f of whatever g of 2 is. Notice that g of 2 is just 4 divided by 2 minus 1. And then you simplify it. 2 minus 1 is 1, and then 4 divided by 1 is 4. So that means that we would have f of 4. Fantastic. And you already know how to do this. You just go back to the f function, and these x's are replaced with 4's. So this is going to give us 2 times 4 minus 1. And then you just simplify. 2 times 4 is 8, minus 1 is 7, last time I looked. So what that tells me is that f composed, as I said, f composed of g of 2 will give me 7. Now what's interesting about this is that this right here, again, all on the left-hand side is just the y variable still. And notice that this is the x variable here. So x, y, it's already kind of in the coordinate form 2, 7. Okay, let's look at b here. b is asking for g composed of f of negative 3. So this is really asking me for g of f of negative 3. Then again, I work from the inside out. Notice that I don't worry about the g of yet. I'm just looking at f of negative 3. So what do you do with f of negative 3? Well, you go back to the f function here and replace the x's with negative 3. So this is going to give me 2 times negative 3 minus 1. And then you simplify. What's 2 times negative 3? Well, it's negative 6. Negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. So really what I want to do is I want to figure out what is g of negative 7. Well, that means that this x and this x are replaced with negative 7, and you simplify. So that's going to give me 4 divided by negative 7 minus 1. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. So that's 4 divided by negative 8, which simplifies to negative 1/2. And this tells me that g composed of f of negative 3 is equal to negative 1/2. And there's our answer. And yes, I am going to anticipate the question that you're going to be asking. And you're going to be asking, do you have to put g composed of f of negative 3 equals negative 1/2 for your answer? Why don't you just do it? If you do it, there's no question that I will ever count off for it. Now, the honest answer is I probably won't count off for you not doing g composed of f of negative 3. But it does help you to remember what you're trying to figure out. So g composed of f of negative 3 equals negative 1/2. Alrighty, well, have fun. I will see you in the next video.